You are listening to the Gate 7 International Podcast, a podcast connecting Olympiakos fans from Melbourne to Baltimore, from London to Piraeus. We are 4 Olympiakos fans from every corner of the world, bringing you news and interviews of the team you love in English. With new episodes twice a week, you'll never lose the latest updates and stories of the team you love. This is our team, our city, and our land. You're listening to the Gate 7 International Podcast.
Welcome to the Gate 7 International Podcast, your official English source for all things Olympiakos FC and Greek football. My name is Peter Thompson. I'm here with my co-hosts Lambros Sirmos and Costa Levoyanis. We are also joined by our good friend and special guest today, Stel. And we've got Stel here for many, many reasons, but as well to make a bit of an announcement about the Gate 7 International Podcast, some exciting things coming up. So we'll get into that. I do have a couple, as always, housekeeping things that we want to run through very quickly. First, the first thing is that Olympiakos have their last friendly of the season coming up on July 13th. We'll be playing Galatasaray, and this is, we're back in Greece. We're not in Austria anymore. The game will be on Mega if you're in Greece, if you'd like to watch, and there's also streaming sites if you'd like to watch as well. I won't dox the names of those on the podcast, but they exist. We talked a little bit on the last podcast about what we expect to see in that game. Galatasaray are a big team, and it's a bit bigger of a deal, I would say. So we kind of expect to see a pretty strong team, at least for the first half. We talked a little bit about who we might see in that game. So if you want to catch that, listen to the previous episode. Additionally, we want to say again, congratulations to Olympiakos DC. Their season did unfortunately come to an end, but in their first season as a club, really, competing in the UPSL, they made it all the way to the division finals, and they went out on penalties, which is a really tough way to go. We can't wait to keep covering them, keep watching them as they continue to grow and get better. We have an interview lined up with the head coach of Olympiakos DC, Philip Vonk. Unfortunately, that had to be postponed because he's busy this weekend, but that will be coming out on July 18th as we expect right now. So we're really excited to have him come on, talk about his coaching philosophy, what goes on at the school, and more. So make sure to keep up with Olympiakos DC on their website, on social media, if you want to potentially see some young players who might be on their way to Piraeus in the future. Additionally, we would like to say thank you to our sponsor, Piraeus International. Piraeus International has been helping Greeks ship to and from the motherland during COVID-19. Shipments to Greece are going out from Baltimore, Maryland every month. Fill any large U-Haul box, 18 by 18 by 24. Send it to our friends in Baltimore, and it will be shipped to the port of Piraeus for only $50. Better yet, fill any large wardrobe box and send it for $100. Give them a call at 410-675-4696 or send an email to sales@piraeusintl.com. All right. Now that that's out of the way, Stel, you've been on the podcast once before. Longtime listeners will remember you. You're on in video form now. For people listening to the video on YouTube, don't be alarmed. The little green clover thingy on Stel's chest there is not Panathinaikos. No association with Panathinaikos here. That is the logo, the badge of Omonoia.
That's haram, isn't it? That's haram. You can't use that word.
Yeah. So that's the badge of Omonoia, which is Stel's team in Cyprus, and a team that we've come to grow a liking to. Stel is an Omonoia meme expert. Got good ties to the team, and he and his buddy Roy do a great podcast, the No Shoftes podcast. If you understand.
Well done, man. Hey, first take. How many times did you practice that? How many times did you practice it?
No Shoftes? A few times. Yeah, I didn't want to get it wrong. Done, I've gotten used to having to practice stuff because otherwise people call me a Xenos and then yell at me. So I need to make sure I get the games right. Lambro gets a pass.
It means no bullshit, doesn't it? It's like no trash.
Pretty much, yeah. No nonsense. Yeah.
It's a good name.
Much.
It's a good name.
Yeah.
But anyway, so Stel, the main reason we've brought you here is because we are very excited to announce, and we want to thank you for giving us the opportunity to sort of come together here. But Gate 7 International Podcast is officially a part of the Shoot the Defense podcast network, I guess is what you would call it, a network. This includes, it's basically Stel's creative child, you would almost say, that he's started, and he's got all sorts of really great content. Like I said, the No Shaftes stuff with Omonoia, does some stuff I want to say with Ryan Giggs' brother. Is that right?
Correct. Yep.
Maybe more general football oriented stuff, but there's also all sorts of great football content from all around the world that is a part of this network. So Stel, I'll just take it, let you sort of talk about how this initiative came to fruition, both, how you started doing this stuff and then where you got the idea to sort of make it a global thing. And I know you've sort of got like people from like Georgia, Estonia, all these places wrapped up in it. So yeah, I'll let you inform the people about it, but I'll safe to say we are very excited.
Yeah, mate, and it's an absolute honor having you guys on. I've been following your podcast for a while now, following your content for even longer. And when I started Shoot the Defense, as I told you when I last came on, it was just me and a friend talking football. That's all it was. And then we started reaching out to some former pros, and then we got one big one. And when I say big one, he wasn't a massive name, but he's a very controversial character. And it kind of blew up from there. He carried on doing little podcasts for me, and then we carried on. So I figured, well, let me try to add more strings to the bow, so to speak. So I'd do interviews. I'd explore different sides of the game. So I'd interview, for example, an Indian football commentator at 4 o'clock in the morning, UK time, just trying to find out more, because obviously it's a global game. And with the introduction of social media back in 2010, 2012, Twitter and all that, I was able to reach out to more and more people, and it grew and it grew and it grew, and we'll get going up the podcast charts in the UK, and then all of a sudden I'm starting to see, 10th in Germany and 12th in Paraguay, and it's weird. You're thinking, who is listening to us talking shit? But people obviously like us talking shit. So yeah, and then I think for me was the one that did it was when I got an interview with Paul Pogba. I was working for I can't say the company's name, but I was working for this big company, and a friend of mine asked me if I could go up to London to interview Paul Pogba for him, because he was working for NBC at the time. And he said, look, you're in London, I'm in LA, can you interview Pogba? And I got a 10-minute interview with Paul Pogba, which went great. It blew up, and then people started listening to Shoot the Defense even more. And I thought, well, let me add a different spin on it. I spoke to a guy called Adam, who's based in the Ukraine, and he started a Ukraine football podcast. And he and his mate Andrew, they've since gone on to do bits for the BBC and Sky Sports. They did remarkably well. We got top spot in the Ukraine football charts. It was like 7 consecutive weeks. It was crazy. And then obviously COVID hit, which was a bit of a shit situation for everyone, really. But I still kept the content going. I just tried something new. I was interviewing people, just asking what their top 5 matches were, just something basic like that. And I did about 86 podcasts in 84 days. I just kept the consistency going, and more people were listening. So I thought, well, let me see if I can add more people onto the podcast. Obviously, I've approached you guys, and you guys have jumped on. So we've got a Greek football side. I've got the No Choftes thing, which I've added on. We've got a gentleman doing a Georgian football podcast soon, hopefully. We have an Estonian football podcast. We have an Austrian football podcast in Polish coming up, because we're getting top 20 in Poland now, which is incredible. And all of this is through the Shoot the Defense umbrella. And I've used it as more like a media network thing as well. We have an MMA podcast, which I don't know if you guys are into mixed martial arts or UFC, anything like that, but the 2 guys that host it, they've been getting like former UFC champions on, which is crazy, because you're looking at like a $2 billion industry, really. So yeah, that's the long answer to your question, mate. I've just networked, really. I've just networked, just got to know people, good people. I've obviously done my research, listened to the podcast, see what they're about, how they flow. It takes a lot of time, but I will tell you guys, I've told you guys this already, but like I've told all the others, when you're on this network, if you get the opportunity to go to work for Sky or Dare or Nova or whoever the fuck approaches you, you got my blessing, because this is effectively, us helping each other out. You help shoot the defense out by getting a wider audience, and one hand washes the other and both hands wash the face effectively. If you guys get the opportunity to get sponsors, that money is all yours. I don't want anything to do with it. I don't, this is just, as I said, it's a networking opportunity for you guys can obviously meet other people that are on the pod, and you can speak to them and possibly, collaborate. And that's effectively what it is, because I see a lot of media companies these days putting podcasts up and it's bullshit. It's crap. It's all sensationalism. It's just, there's nothing there that makes you think, I want to listen to it again and again. You guys know your stuff. We know our stuff when it comes to an Omonoia perspective. I've got a Low Limit Football coming soon with Roberto Rojas. I don't know if you know him, but big journalist in the United States. He's Paraguayan, works for beIN Sports. He's got his own podcast with Joe Uccello. They've been doing it for a few years. Well, we'll say they've been about 11 years, I'd say. They've done it about a year less than us, I'd say. So they're coming on soon. So yeah, I'm talking a lot at the moment, but yeah, it's a great opportunity for everyone involved, because you get to know each other, and maybe just one day when we're allowed to travel, without any restrictions, we might be able to all meet up in one place and have a big party.
You're teasing me, mate. You're teasing me.
All come to Canada. Are you in Canada?
I'm in Canada. Yeah, you don't want to come here though.
Why not?
I'll come visit you guys.
Where in Canada are you?
I'm in Edmonton, Alberta. It's like,
I was born in Edmonton, North London, my friend.
I'd probably rather go to Edmonton, North London. If you want to see like an anti-mask protest in the streets, or if you want to see like a lot of I love oil and gas bumper stickers, come here. But otherwise, because
you got a team called the Edmonton Oilers, the hockey team. Come on.
Yeah, well, it's a big oil industry anyway. Everyone thinks climate change is a hoax. It's fantastic.
So you don't attack the Kuwaitis and Iraq and all that. You just do your own thing, right?
That's exactly right. But look, Stel, the point of all this is I'll catch you in Cyprus.
People are doing this now. The fuck? How do you say this?
Well, I want to say is, I think if anyone's watching, one thing that is already clear is Stel, we're all comfortable taking the piss out of each other, and that's why while Stel was talking, this comment, Stel, I don't know if you're a basketball guy, but this one gave me a laugh. I think between the hoodie, which is, I will say again, it's Omonoia. Okay, we don't have any enemies here.
I'm a manga for in green on Olympiakos. Yeah, Catalan. All right, that's my team, man. Listen, if I had the Omonoia away shirt from the Champions League at home, I'd wear it. It's a red one, but I don't have it.
Well,
sorry.
Well, what I want to say is, Stel, we have to talk about the memes a little bit. Now, I've reveled in this off camera, right? But if anyone follows Stel, and I urge you do on Instagram, it's CHE Stel. Stel is basically like the captain of Omonoia memes. Like whenever a funny picture of the players comes out, like Stel's on it with the memes. And there was this one guy named Vozinha for this other team. I forget, was it Limassol? Was it Limassol? Yeah. So. This guy just got absolutely dragged to the point where he blocked you, and the memes were elite. Like, I don't know if you want to speak on this, but like, we just have to say this is this is unprecedented stuff. Like sometimes we can't bring this type of content. It's just, we can't match it. But
this story is about a 20-year-old story. I'm not going to bore you with the full details, but when I was growing up, I played in goal. My favorite goalkeeper ever was Peter Schmeichel, right? I grew up watching this guy. For me, he was the best goalkeeper ever. And when I watch goalkeepers these days, I shouldn't compare generations, but you can't help it. I grew up watching Jurgen Klinsmann, Lothar Matthäus. You could tell how old I am now, yeah? Right. But then I see people like Haaland and Mbappe, and I'm like, you're not a touch on Ronaldo, R9. You're not a touch on Batistuta. You're not a touch on these players. But actually, it's this generation. So when I was growing up, Peter Schmeichel was my guy. And Roy, my co-host, we were talking about goalkeepers one episode, and he said, Vozinha is a really good goalkeeper. I think he's second best in the country behind Fabi. I'm like, nah, no chance, mate. This goalkeeper is a walking disaster. Honestly, he's a walking tsunami. Like he will, you know what they say, that you're gaining, what's the word? Victory from defeat or something like that. He does the opposite. The Midas touch. He's got the opposite. Yeah. And it was just me and Roy going back and forth about Vozinha. So I don't rate him. And then I just did a video highlighting all of the mistakes that Vozinha has made, where he's been nutmegged or he's been beaten at his near post, or there was one where a goal's been conceded and he's just dropped to his knees and started rolling around as if he's been shot to claim for a free kick. Just something weird. So I did that video, and I did it the day before AEL played Apollon. And AEL had to win to stand a chance of challenging for the title, because if they lost, they'd have been out of the title race. And I released the video on the morning of the game, and I tagged Vozinha. Now, I don't know whether he saw it. I'd like to think that he did, because he fucked up. He was trying to play the... I don't know if you saw this. He received the ball, and he was at his feet, and he took one touch, he took two touches. And as he's gone to drag the ball back, he's slipped and fallen on the ball. And the business while that was at Bark, he's rolled the ball in the back of the net and effectively cost AEL the game, right? So I just was taking the piss out of Roy, and as we do, he's shit, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, we played AEL, we beat them 2-1. The equalising goal, there's a picture of Vozinha basically cross-legged on the floor with his arms out, just doing that. And I thought, I've got to take a screenshot of that. And I've basically used that little picture of him doing that as a template. So during the beginning of the Euros, every time something happened, I'd put Vozinha in and all that kind of stuff. And it kind of went crazy. Like, you know, Peter, you were laughing about it, and other people were laughing about it, until one day, completely off subject, I was, that one. Yeah, there's other ones as well. Completely off subject. I did a Photoshop of a former Omonoia player called Rusha, who's joined Anorthosi. And our nickname for the Anorthosi are the Godes, the chickens, right? So I photoshopped the chicken's head on Rusha's body, right? The next day, I've got this little kid messaging me, right, on Instagram saying, Rusha was a great player for Omonia. You disrespected him. Christophe, you disrespect him, because he's another player that left us to go to Anorthosi. And he goes, you're a damn ass fuck. You're a fucking chicken. I'm like, okay, well, that's a great insult. I mean, I've never been called a damn ass fuck or a fucking chicken before, so I thought I'd just run with it. So when Omonia went back into pre-season training, there was an image of one of our players sitting down on a leg press machine, and behind him was this green board with like graffiti. So I photoshopped, you're a damn ass fuck, you're a fucking chicken. And then it kind of snowballed out of control, because then I found this video of Vozinha giving an interview, and I basically use this system called type to text, where you can type and then press process, and the computer talks. So I basically got a picture of Vozinha talking, and I pretended to interview him. So I was like, Vozinha, what'd you make of Stel? Why did you block him on Instagram? And I did this video, and it was just him going, you're a damn ass fat, you're a fucking chicken. And it blew up. So yeah, like, you shouldn't be asking me these questions with long answers required, bruv, because I'm taking up all of your time.
No. Go on.
It's been 18 minutes, and I've gone for about 15 of it. But no, I mean, like I said, I like to troll clubs, but I don't do it in like an offensive kind of way. I don't get personal with them. There's no need for it. Okay, if a team loses, I'll rip the piss. I've had death threats, right, from fans. When I prank called up Boyle's offices at the beginning of the season, I got death threats. You know, we're going to stab you. We're going to do this. We're going to do this and that to your kid. We're going to do this. Blah 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 blah. Okay, I was like, fine. Well, I'm coming to Cyprus in October, motherfucker. I'll tell you where I am. So I went to Cyprus in October. I was at Mackenzie Beach. If you want me, I'm here. Come. They don't show up because it's people behind the screen giving it all of that. That's what I'm saying. I've been in this game for too long. I know it inside out. So whatever.
People have big balls behind the screen, as they say.
Yeah, this is it, man.
Nah,
mate.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I first of all, I don't mind you taking all this time still, because the people need to understand where the Vozinha lore comes from. We did have a question from Eleftherios Mahinis asking about our Omonia playing in Europe. So they're actually, and this is something we'll talk about a little bit, they are actually the same place as we are, as Olympiakos. So they are in the second qualifying round, I guess, of Champions League, waiting for their opponents. And one thing that did happen aside from the Euros this week is there were some Champions League first qualifying round fixtures. Omonia got kind of a tough draw, we have to say. Dynamo Zagreb and Valur, which are an Icelandic team, are the two teams battling it out to face Omonia in the next round. And Zagreb picked up a 3-2 victory. Now, Valur did get 2 away goals, but away goals are not a thing anymore, as far as I understand. So that doesn't actually really help them that much. It just means they still need to win by 1 goal to even have a chance to play Omonia. But Dynamo Zagreb, we have to say, are a pretty big club still. I'm sure, you're not super enthused to be playing them when Olympiakos maybe get a bit of an easier draw. But I suppose if you want to get to Champions League, you're going to have to beat a couple tough teams along the way anyway.
Yeah, well, this is it. We played. Ararat was our first game last season in the qualifier. Then we played Legia Warsaw. We beat them away 2-0. Then we beat Red Star Belgrade on penalties, and then obviously we lost to you guys. It's a different team from last season. We've lost 4 players. Mavrias has gone to Apollon. Thank you very much. Yeah, so Mavrias has gone to Apollon, but he didn't really feature much last season, unfortunately. I like Haris; he's a good guy, really nice guy.
And we've discussed him for the Greek national team as well. Now, as much as I'm sure he's a nice guy. We gave him a little bit of stick for not playing a game and still getting selected by the team, but it's whatever. Yeah, it's what it is.
That wasn't his fault. It wasn't his fault.
No, it wasn't his fault.
By John Van Shit, wasn't playing for his club and he was getting picked in the national team.
But that's another discussion, guys. That's
he's gone to Apollon, but we saw that coming. He wasn't playing. I think he played about 5 or 6 times at the beginning of the season. Then he made the mistake away at Olympiakos, the other Olympiakos, obviously, and he didn't play till the cup game against Apoel, which we lost, and that was end of March, April. Anyway, so he's gone. Thiago's gone, and he's been a big game player for us. One of those players always there, right place, right time, scoring important goals. Work rate's fantastic. He's gone to AEK Larnaca. Lufner, we obviously couldn't afford to buy him from Copenhagen, so his 2-year loan was up, and he signed for Vidi in Hungary. I spoke to him the other day. He's doing well. He's not happy that he's doing a lot of running though in pre-season training. I said, well, you got to run, motherfucker. You ain't done much running in Cyprus because you've been keeping attackers in your pocket. You ain't been running much. And who else has gone? Who else? There's 4 players. Who's the 4th player? Oh, Vitor Gomez, central midfielder, but we knew that he was leaving. So we brought in Mix. We brought in Salti, the right back from Olympiakos. He looks good. We brought in Yuster, central defender that was Apollon. Had some time I think it was at Granada prior to that. Brought in Mix. We're looking at 2 wingers at the moment. That's what I've been told anyway. We obviously need another forward player because Ernest has done his cruciate. So, yeah, it's a different squad. But listen, the team spirit has been fantastic. And I think that's one thing that's, that what one must say about this team is very different to Omonia teams in the past. In the past, you've had a strong unit, but not like you do now. And I think that's the one thing that separates us from the rest of the teams. Apollon, Anorthosi, all the other teams, they've had to change and bring in new players and basically strip everything down to the bare bones and then bring it back in, whether it be for financial or just to start again. Whereas us, we've got that core group of players. So, yeah, it's going to be an interesting season, but, we're just too fucking good, man. So, there you go.
A lot of big players still in the team for Omonia, including Fabiano, the keeper who you mentioned briefly as being the only one who can stand in the way of Vozinha for the title of best keeper in the Cypriot League. But
I mean, I've signed another goalkeeper now, so maybe Vozinha's going to be back on the bench. Maybe I've destroyed him. I don't know.
Maybe
Vozinha, I'm sorry, man. You can unblock me. I promise I won't do that.
Well, we're going to segue just briefly to Olympiakos transfer news because I think that's what the people want to hear at the moment. And of course, Fabiano was linked with us earlier, and he would have been a good player to come in, but it seems like he's going to be staying in Cyprus. And it still seems like Olympiakos need a goalkeeper is all I have to say. I think Fabrizio Romano, the here we go merchant, as some people call him. Yeah, exactly. He waiting for it to be completely done. He tweeted that Jose Sa is probably on his way to replace Rui Patricio at Wolves. So the inevitable is here, and Olympiakos are looking at mainly two options right now. One of them is Czech international goalkeeper Tomáš Vaclík, who had a pretty good tournament in the World Cup. What the fuck am I on about? Euros. And he is a free agent. He's going to be asking for big wages, though, which is going to probably be what keeps him potentially from coming to Greece, because he just had a great tournament. He's going to have bigger clubs in for him, and he's looking for that big money. But he's very talented. He would be great in red and white. Another player that we are looking at for the goalkeeper position is Bizot, who is coming to us from AZ Alkmaar in the Netherlands. He is a Dutch international, and Lambro is a big outspoken, advocate for Bizot. I personally have not.
I'm also very confident, Peter. In private, in our group chat, I'm also very confident.
In private, but also in the Instagram comments. But he's going to be, I believe, a sale. So we're looking at paying money for him, as far as I believe. I hope I didn't mess that up. But and Sa, we're looking to sell for maybe less money than we want, guys. I don't know. I think, Costa, you had some words about this off camera about like what his fee is going to be. We might be looking at below 10 million euros, which is, I think, kind of disappointing. But I don't know. What do you two think?
I mean, we got him at around 2 million euro, and we're going to be selling him for about 9, is what we heard the other day in the Greek press. Now, they've been saying that his minimum fee release clause was 13 million, but that after last season, it went up to 15. In any case, I just think the market is such that we're never going to get that kind of money. And frankly, we've been talking about this deal for over a month and a half now, that Sar's on the way to Wolves, it's happening, but Rui Patricio has to go first. He's going to leave, he's going to leave, he's going to leave. He's still here. I think the deal is going to happen, but where are all the other clubs waiting to, start a bidding war? This is all pre-cooked. It's Jorge Mendes. So he's been here for 3 seasons. You guys get 9 million. He'll probably throw in another player, give us a nice deal on somebody else. So I think it's good business. He's been with us for 3 seasons, been a good servant to the club. Of course, we would have liked to get 15 million, but making 7 million profit is not bad either. And then the other 2 keepers, I mean, we might end up with a better keeper. I don't know. You never know with transfers, but both Bizot and Vaclík, they have a good list of accolades there and experience. I think Bizot's 30, Vaclík is 32. And in the end, I think whoever it is, we're going to be paying around 2 to 3 million. So again, you've made money from the sale, and you're getting, in theory, a keeper who is as good, if not better. So it is what it is. I'm quite happy with it. Labro's not.
No, I want more money, but I've come to I want more money because I've read the 8 million. No one brought that up. I read 8 million from Sport24, which is way too little, and the number keeps going down, 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 down. And I would like there to be a sell-on fee percentage, because I always have a gut feeling that things can go wrong in the Premier League with our players. I feel like there's always this chance that shit could hit the fan, and the fans could turn on them, and they drop them in December. You know what I mean? And then they can sell them. I bet you if Jose Sa flops, they could sell him for 15 million in the next summer. You know what I mean? So
it's not Greece, man. It's not Greece.
No, but what I'm telling you is I want a sell-on fee, because if that happens, we get a bit more. And let's say he blows up at Wolves and shows what he's capable of, then we get even more money, right? So
and get sold to Real Madrid.
Want. Exactly. Real Madrid comes knocking for Jose Sa. But anyway, I'm just 8.5 million euros for the best keeper we've had in so long just seems disappointing to me. I just wish there was more money there, and I have fears that the same situation is going to come knocking with Mari Camara. I think we're
wait, because there was a discussion today about this, and everyone's going like, all right, he's worth 15 million on Transfermarkt, but we're going to sell him for 20 because Pedenza was sold for 19 or 20 million or whatever it was, and Madi is a central midfielder. He's going to blow up wherever he goes, and 20 million is what we want, and we're not going to say yes to anything below that. Hang on a minute, because we're likely to get bids around 13 to 15 million, and now they're saying that take the 15 million and add a 20% or a 25%, a percentage to the deal, and then if he does blow up, you're going to make that 5 million, which we're saying is a loss from the 20. You're going to make more than that if he makes a big transfer to a big team in Spain or a big team in England. So again, like with the Madi deal, if it's 15 plus a percentage, go for it. You make more money in the long term. You make more money than you would if it's just 20, and then that's it.
Well, the other position that I briefly want to bring up, and it's funny because I know Stel mentioned that Omonoia are looking for a couple of wingers to bring in. And so are we actually right now. And I would say that's probably, aside from replacing Jose Sa, probably the most pressing thing right now. And it might be a little bit early to start thinking about this, but as always, the Greek press has these names flying around. We talked about Pavon and how he seems to be a good player, but there might be some off the field issues. And it seems like Boca Juniors right now are asking for 7.5 million euros, which how close would that be to our record signing? I know it's not a record, but it would be pretty close.
No, not. I mean, in Marinakis.
In Marinakis.
Well, Marinakis' biggest transfer was Pedenza, essentially.
It was Bjorn Engels.
I thought it was Bjorn Engels.
Then
Bjorn Engels.
No, Transfermarkt says that Bjorn Engels was 4.5.
No, I thought he was 7.5 million euros back in the day.
Transfermarkt says 4.5.
Maybe some Greek press was going on there and making.
Maybe they inflated it because they just signed. They got rid of Retsos, and then the media was like, "Oh, we just brought in for 7.5." I remember when he signed, I was like, "Holy shit, we signed Bjorn Engels for 7.5 million euros. We haven't spent this money ever." Blah blah
what
blah.
Calamity! What a calamity!
And things didn't go great, did they? They did not go great.
Well, anyways, so the Pavon thing, we've got this money issue. There is also the name of George Kevin Nkudu from Besiktas, which is like, Tottenham legend, Premier League legend coming to Greece would be a huge signing. Reece Nelson is still floating around. Arsenal legend fell just short of making the Euro squad for England, we're being told from the Greek press. Oh God!
Well, at least you're not going for Maitland-Niles. Crying out loud, the guy can't even drive.
We could do a package deal. I don't know. Didn't they come through the academy together?
Mate,
also, Ruben Vinagre.
Can we sell him some tires?
Can we talk about this? Ruben Vinagre is being sold to Sporting for 10 million euros.
Yeah.
Unbelievable, man.
Biggest coat of all, the worst player that we've had in Olympiakos last year. Like, absolute
10
clown.
million euros.
That's why I'm worried about if we have the Sa deal be a swap. I don't know if I want any of these other Wolves players that are just going to come in and take a holiday for 6 months before getting loaned back out to Portugal or something. I don't know if I can deal with it. But and then there's also Onyekuru.
He's back.
He's back in the rumors.
All of these speed merchants. All of
these back, baby.
Just run and do nothing with the ball when they get
back. But can I give some background on this? So Henry Onyekuru of Monaco played for, you probably all know this already by now, played for Galatasaray in last season. They had an option of 5.3 million euros to buy him, and that expired in the past week. Henry Onyekuru told his teammates, I think he made a post on Instagram as well, goodbye to Galatasaray, and he's about to stab them in the goddamn heart because he doesn't want to leave. And he's going to sign for Besiktas, supposedly. That's what they're saying. So he's about to stab a Galatasaray team that he's played 3 different times, I think, in the heart. Because he reportedly doesn't want to live in Greece, which just doesn't make sense to me. He's like, I want to stay in Turkey.
First ever
Yeah.
footballer who like avoids Greece because they don't want to live there. Usually it's like, oh, I've heard the houses in Glyfada are very nice and the beach. It'll be a great time. I'll go sign for that.
I'm really confused about that. Like, anyway, so maybe he just loves the city because he wants to sign for Besiktas. I don't know. Good luck to him if he signs there. Like, I would also put him on like murder watch because like going from Galatasaray to Besiktas, like.
But gents, I'm not trying to be funny or anything, but if you want to improve, why would you be signing players from Galatasaray?
What?
I mean, did they even win the league last season?
I agree with you, Stel. No, I agree with you. Lambro is the one over here who's like, I saw the YouTube highlights, guys. He's
okay,
a big
the
player.
YouTube highlights for Onyekuru are elite. They're real good.
Yeah, but Man United saw Bebe's YouTube and they thought they'd sign him because he did well at the Homeless World Cup.
Yeah, well, that's what we say, Stel, and then we have to deal with Lavro over here with the YouTube highlights. But it is, yeah, I totally agree with you.
Get Y Scout, proper stuff.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about.
Oh, Adi, come on,
Adi. That's not right. Adi coming in from the chat.
Adi
I love that. I love Adi's profile picture as well. That is like, I was like a fetus when that picture was taken. My God.
Adi also knows.
Fasolia. Don't ask him about fasolia. We know what happens with those.
Adi also knows me and Pedro Martins have the same style. Look for one pace merchant winger. You know, that's our style and management. We're the same.
Yes, Pedro Martins have that.
No, but also, can we just? This is actually a really good point. Like, why do you guys think the club is going for? Is Kevin and Kudu Gary Rodriguez 2.0? Can we say it? Can we say it from last summer? Like,
it's not as much of a saga as Gary Rodriguez.
It's not as big of a saga, but like, why the hell do we want a winger so bad from Turkey? Like, there's so many beautiful countries in Europe. And the club is just obsessed with washed up Besiktas and Galatasaray wingers. Like, it makes no sense. It just blows my mind because they want big wages too. We did this with Bruma. We're going to do this one and Kudu. I don't know. And
you know what the worst thing is that apparently Bruma's being linked to Besiktas as an Nkudu replacement. And we didn't want to keep Bruma, so we're going to get his sloppy seconds from Besiktas after they've replaced him with the guy that we've said, yeah, no, you're not good enough, mate.
It's just a revolving door,
guys. We'll take Nkudu off your hands. So what the fuck is wrong with you?
It's a revolving door. Like, literally, Galatasaray, then you are linked to Olympiakos, then you go to Besiktas instead, then you're linked to Olympiakos the next summer.
I was saying this to you guys, but like, does one team scout the wingers and the rest scouts the rest of the goddamn players? Because the one scouting team's like, do they play for Besiktas? They're on the top of the list. The rest of the scouts are fucking fantastic. The winger scouts, I don't know where they found these people. Like, literally, it is terrible. I'm sorry. Like, Bruma 2.0 is going to come this summer. If I have to watch another Bruma for a whole season and have kids on Instagram because he scores like braces against Larissa saying he's the best big thing, I am going to lose my shit. I'm already close to losing my shit.
So you won't. So just to clarify, Lavro, you won't go to the airport for this one.
No, I will burn down the airport. I swear to God.
Well, we have a nice question actually from the chat from Grigorios Kotsias asking, are there any interesting players from Cyprus that would fit in Olympiakos in Piraeus? And so, Stel, we can bring you in here. I don't know. Let's leave out Omonia players, even though they are the best team. But just, obviously, I know you don't want to fantasize about your players leaving and going to Greece. But what are your thoughts on this question? Like, a bargain signing from Cyprus. Is it even interesting?
There was talk about Loizo, wasn't there?
Yeah, Loizo, yeah.
There was.
Yeah, Loizo. And I know that Anderlecht and one of the Club Bruges are looking at him at the moment. Those are two teams that are definitely looking at him. But there's a reason why they're not going to make an offer, and I can't go into it because I've been told this in confidence. But
is it because he farts on the pitch near his teammates?
No, there's not that. No,
that's an Instagram.
That'd be a great reason, wouldn't it? No, we don't want to sign him because he just farts at inappropriate times. He goes to church, Easter, lets one rip. No, Johnny's, but there's bids at Apollon. good little player. But the thing is, if I look at players in Cyprus that could do it in Greece, yeah, there's a few, but they're few and far between as well. That's the thing. In terms of wide players, I can't really think of any. Honestly, I can't really think of any. As I said, Loizo isn't really a wide player, even though he does play wide right. He's more like a number 10. I'd say John is probably the only one, I'd say. But he's a top talent. He's a top talent. And he could play at like a mid-table Bundesliga side. That he's, and that's now at this level. And he's got so much potential. But in terms of other clubs, yeah, like I said, probably Bitsa from Apollon is probably the only one, I think, in terms of young Cypriots.
And we were talking about the Apoel winger who left for Belgium to Leuven.
Tamari, yeah.
Yeah. Would he have been good last season? Because people were disappointed when he didn't sign last season. Do you think he would have fit in?
I didn't see anything special about him, to be honest. Don't get me wrong. He's quick. He's tricky. I call him like a pound store version of Riyad Mahrez, really. Or what you guys call them, dollar stores, just that kind of, like you buy the WWE action figures and then you go to like your dollar store and you got like
they called him the Jordanian Messi, if I'm not mistaken here.
It's like the lookalike from Jordan or the actual Lionel Messi you're talking about. Look, he's a good player, but I mean, look, if he was as good as he's made out to be, why has he been signed by a club in Belgium that's not even challenging for the title? This one talk about levels here, right? So you guys are looking at players from Galatasaray. Well, you were in the Champions League last season. The year before, you did remarkably well in the Europa League. You beat Arsenal. You knocked them out. So why are you looking at players at that level? You should be looking at players that may be a little bit higher, but then I can understand that you've got wages, you've got signing on fees, you've got agents, you've got everything else that comes with it, image rights, whatever it is. And obviously with COVID as well, it's hit teams financially. So you're not going to be spending big money. I heard that goalkeeper that was on loan at Fulham, Areola, was linked with you guys. Mm-hmm. But again, his wages are going to be ridiculous because he comes from Paris Saint-Germain. So how much is he going to want to go to Greece? If he could go to Fulham, that's fine because it's Premier League money, man. You get 100 million for getting promoted, for fuck's sake. So they can afford to spend 50, 60 grand a week on a goalkeeper. You talk about Olympiakos, they're the only team in the league, for fuck's sake. Let's be real.
Stel knows. Stel understands.
Well, it's fact,
I mean,
man.
Yeah.
There was 2 years you didn't win it. Before that, you won it, 11 years on the bounce? Come on, man. It's a disrespect.
This man watched Pauk play twice this year. That's all we have to say. That's the second best team in the league.
They were poor.
Yeah.
But they were a good team when they won the league, though.
They were
a good team when they won the league.
And then their coach is back. Top striker screwed off. Well, their coach is back now, but yeah.
Their coach is back.
Yeah, Lucescu's back.
Oh, wow. Okay. Because I know his assistant that was there, Diego Longa. And he hasn't gone with him. So, because he went with him for the Romanian national team. He went with Rapid Bucharest. Yeah. And he went to Dinamo Kiev with his dad, with Lucescu. Sorry. Anyway, I digress.
There you go. No, I mean, still,
isn't the dad hated by like Neri Castillo as well? Is that right?
Don't start.
I won't bring that up.
No. See you next Tuesday, mate.
Okay. I know you're from London.
That's one I got to get in on that one. I didn't get that one yet. But anyway.
Oh, I know that one.
I said the phrase like taking the piss in front of my Canadian friends, and they were
on, geezer.
They were like,
more.
Please do. They had a laugh at me though. They were like, who do you think you are over here? Like talking like you're from the UK. I was like, listen, I've been listening to
Instead of saying to them, you're taking the piss, tell them you're having a bubble. Yeah? You're having a bubble, and they'll be like,
having a bubble.
Yeah, having a bubble. It's Cockney rhyming slang. You're having a bubble, a bubble bath, a laugh. You're having a laugh.
Ah, I see. That's the origin.
You haven't got a Scooby what I'm talking about, do you?
No, I do.
Scooby Doo, Clue. See?
Can I make my own? Give me.
You can try. Come on.
Give me a few seconds. Talk about transfers for a minute. Lambro, talk about the Uruguayan left back, and then I'll come back with a good slang.
Peter, we talked about this off camera. I was like, who the hell is this Uruguayan left back? Where does he play? But Peter's like, yeah, you know everything about the Uruguay. Anyway, guys, let me go to the sheet. Joaquin Piraeus.
Piraeus,
Costa, you talk about it. Lambro,
Uruguayan left
you're in
back
timeout.
Okay, Costa, you talk about him from Peñarol.
I don't have the stats in front of me. So he's a left back, 22 years old from Peñarol, Uruguay.
He's 6 foot 185 centimeters tall for a left back.
I think I read Gabriel Alves. If anybody remembers him, he played for us for 1 year. They called him the Vulture from Uruguay. He said that this guy is like the Uruguayan Yorgatos. Big fucking statement.
Jesus Christ. Wow.
Yeah. So, this guy's 22 years old. I think he played 33 games last season for Peñarol. He had something like 7 assists and 2 goals, something like that. Apparently, some clubs in Spain want him. I think Cadiz made a bid for him, which was rejected. I think there's a club in Argentina that's interested as well. But apparently he is number 1 target for left back. And there are another 2. One is Gavori, who plays for Standard Liège here in Belgium. And the other one is Mojica, Colombian international that plays in Spain for Girona, who got relegated. And apparently we're looking at somebody else that the name hasn't seen the light of day. But apparently left back is really number 1 on Pedro Martinez's wish list, because we've got Oleg on the left and Apostolopoulos, and that's it. So if Oleg gets injured, we're going with an 18-year-old kid that's never played a professional football match in his life. So we got to get moving. Got to get moving on the left back front.
I haven't seen this name, but this would be a great signing. Left back, pretty young, Greek international. His name's Leonardo Koutris. He plays in Germany. Really great player. Pedro Martins. I don't know if this guy. What the hell are they doing? What are they? They're looking for Piraeus, Wadareas, Wika, and you have Koutris out there in Germany. I honestly can't. I can't sometimes with the transfer policies of the club, because sometimes it's just obvious, Koutris was the day-and-day starter for Pedro Martins his first year. What the hell? What's wrong? Why can't he just come? He's playing. He's in preseason. He plays for the Greek national team now, but he's not good enough for us.
He doesn't want to come back, man.
Why have we screwed this up so bad? Jesus Christ. I don't know. I get frustrated. I get very frustrated, as you all know. But
we really cockadoodled that one up.
Jesus Christ, Peter.
Nice try.
Cockadoodle do. Stel's not impressed. Forget I said anything.
But anyway, I'm so frustrated that Kevin and Kudu, Piraeus.
I got something for you.
Mojito.
Because we're talking about all these wingers, I just want to read out a list. Yeah. So Valbuena, Masouras, Radzelovic, Chumic, Vrusai, Algacin Bar, and Aigbu Camara. What do they all have in common?
Except for Valbuena and Masouras, they're going to probably play most of their football in the B team if we sign good wingers.
They all play on the wing. 7 players. 7
Ba
players.
Technically doesn't, I don't think, right? Didn't they say they're not playing Ba at wing?
He can play up front. He can play on the wing. He can play behind the striker. He's got pace. He can play on the wing. Got 7 players.
I want to see him play against
7
Galatasaray.
players on the roster that can play on the wing, and we're talking about buying Georgian Kudu as our top shelf signing. Give me a break.
But what system do you guys play now? Is it 4-2-3-1?
He changes it
we change a lot. I would say 4-3-3 or 3-4-3 is probably what we're going to do most of next year, with a little bit of 4-4-2 sprinkled in.
Wow, okay.
Our Kostas Fortounis, who is our central attacking midfielder, our number 10, has torn his ACL again. So we would do more 4-2-3-1 with him and more 4-4-2 with him as well as like a wide midfielder. But he's injured now, so we'll probably do more 4-3-3 now that he's not in the team.
So effectively, you need attacking fullbacks. You need fullbacks with good energy, like you had Simica with him.
Yeah.
On the right, we have Androutsos, who does the job,
and we have Kenny Lala, who's decent.
And we have Kenny. I still want to see more of Androutsos on the left, but I understand it's not easy for a right-footed player.
You think we're going to get a Greek Spinazzola out of Androutsos?
Goddamn right we are.
I do.
I already called it.
I believe. Not that we shouldn't sign a left back. I'd be fine with the Uruguayan kid, to be fair. I'd also like to see Kutris come back in the team, but we do need more. We absolutely need more depth.
Signing a player from South America is a bit of a gamble, especially at a young age. You got to take into consideration the level that they're playing at the moment, the language. Will they settle in the country? I know the culture is quite similar, but again, he's coming from where Montevideo, I guess, to Athens. Or Piraeus. I mean, what's the population like as well? What is it? Is he going to be able to cope with it? Are there players at the club that can speak the same language? Spanish-speaking.
Well, that's the thing as well, and we don't have a whole ton of Spanish-speaking guys in the team right now. There's a big Portuguese contingent, and there's a big French contingent, and there's obviously Greek speakers, and there's a few Spanish, but like. I mean, an example is like this kid that we brought in, January 2019, Maxi Lovera, like young Argentinian kid coming over from South America, really talented and like never really got his chance, if we're being completely honest. And still, I think he's a good player, but it's what you said, Stel, like it's a culture shock, and with the language may have been an issue as well socially, and just never really got like a run in the team, I would say.
He was a deadline day signing, September.
Oh, he was September. Okay.
Yeah. He cost an arm and a leg. So
he was a big. Has he played for the youth team in Argentina? He was like a pretty big name.
He played for the under-20s, and I think he played in the Olympic team.
Yeah. So I mean, he was a big commodity at the time, and he didn't really do it here. And he's back in South America, or at least was back in South America for the second half of last season.
It's a really good point though, and this came up the other day when we were talking about Pavon. Pavon is 25, going 20. I think 25 years old. Obviously, he's an Argentinian international. So for me, it's a little bit different when you've played at that level. You can probably get over the adaptation a bit quicker than a 21 or a 20-year-old coming from South America for the first time. But I agree. There's always risk. And I don't know. I've never seen the guy play, so it's a gamble. You never know. He's got to be better than Ruben Vinagre, though.
Ruben Vinagre.
You don't like him.
We hate Ruben Vinagre. He's literally the worst. But I have
disaster.
I was talking to Peter about this off camera. Like, where has it all gone wrong for Oleg Ryabchuk? Because I have a deep fear Well, go ahead. Because
why is everyone like, oh, it's all gone wrong?
Everyone is saying it, Costa. Like everyone
is saying it. Just because the newspapers and the reactionary Greeks are going on.
The Greek media, it's like the same. Oh, Tsimikas is too young. Yeah, don't play him. Oh, play Kutris. Why is Tsimikas playing? Oh, Tsimikas is great. He's gone to Liverpool. He's the best left back in the world. Blah blah blah. It's like you don't know what's going to happen with Oleg. Like he's got the physical attributes, and yeah, we talked about this off camera. Physically, his physical attributes are better than Tsimikas. They're better than Kutris. They're probably better than any left back we've ever had in terms of his ability to run up and down the line, the stamina, the pace, the acceleration. But his problem is he gets to the 18-yard box in the opposition's half, and then he doesn't know what to do, or he crosses it and it just always goes to an opponent. So for fuck's sake, can somebody just stick him outside the 18-yard box and make him cross the ball and hopefully learn? I don't know. Like with Tsimikas and Kutris, it was the other way around. Like they didn't have the tactical awareness and the positioning. But if you they were basically left midfielders, both of them. They were attacking players, so they knew how to whip a ball into the box. Rabchuk doesn't at the moment, but that's something he can learn.
It's easier for me to learn that than learn the tactical and the mental stuff, I would say. Like you literally, like you said, you just have to sit and cross a ball for a few hours every day after training. Maybe not a few hours.
I think the depressing part is he was so good for the first 2 months. Like I was talking to Peter, that first leg in Eindhoven.
He needs time.
Like I was like, God damn it, we got the replacement for Chimikas. Like this kid's a baller. And then as the second half of the season, it was like,
do you know what that was? That was because we were
used to Jose Jolebas maybe.
We had Jose playing left back, and fair play, for 37 years of age, he was bombing up and down the wing in Champions League games. Yeah, so like I won't ever say a bad word about Jose, but that's what we could get from a 37-year-old. It's like one or two kind of overlaps, and then Oleg came in, and we were getting 10, 15 overlaps a game, and him bombing up and down the wing like an absolute kamikaze. And you were like, it's happening again. It's like Olympiakos has the width. Like we have Androutos on one side after Rafinha. You know, we had a 37-year-old on one wing and a 35, 36-year-old on the other. And suddenly you had two young boys, like a 22-year-old Androutos and a 22-year-old Oleg, just with the energy. And you were like, we started to look like Olympiakos again, and we were excited because we were used to what we were seeing from September until December. And then people were like, oh, he can't cross, and oh, he's not good enough. And hang on a minute, like, slow down.
But I think the people, real quick, it's just a contrast with Kenny and Oleg. Lala had that mediocre first start to the career at Olympiakos, and he's turned it around in the preseason games. Oleg has not in the preseason games, from what I've read. As we all know, I haven't watched much, and yeah, I'm excited to see what he does against Galatasaray in 5 days. Just putting it out there.
Can I ask like a really ignorant question, please?
Go ahead.
Sure.
So like, I look at your squad, and obviously I don't know your team too well, but I'm assuming that your two most experienced players are Valbuena and El Arabi, and maybe Babas Tapopoulos, yeah?
Yeah. Jan and Vila you could maybe throw in there as well.
So you mentioned these young players like in their early 20s. And if you want to look at players that are going to be there for the long term, or maybe for 4 or 5 seasons, get their value up, or at least you can get the most out of them, who in the Olympiakos squad can you say these youngsters can look up to and ask for advice, be it technical, tactical, or just growing up? Because I look at our squad and I see Jordi Gomez has won the FA Cup with Wigan, played for Sunderland, played for Swansea, Premier League, played at Barcelona with Messi. I look at Thomas Huberchan, that's won the UEFA Cup with Zenit St. Petersburg. I look at our manager, who's won everything there is to win at club level, and so on and so forth. And the youngsters have got these players there to talk to them and basically ask questions. Do you have those mainstays at your club, the captains, the leaders, that you could say, right, they can pass that knowledge down to the youngsters? Because that is worth more than just signing an experienced player for 1 or 2 seasons. Do you get what I'm saying?
I think the club has put together not only a good squad in a sense that there's balance in terms of more experienced players and young players there as well, but in the back room, you've got players or former players like Dorosidis, who's a technical director now. Karambo is like a sporting director for the club as well. He played with us for 3 years. Modesto is like the chief scout, and he's always in and around the team. So everywhere you look, if you're a new player and you're coming into the club and you don't really know what it's about, on day one when you arrive, they make you understand. Then it's up to that person to understand, like, okay, these are the expectations at the club, so this is the mentality. And some players pick it up real quick and some players never do, like a Pepe or a Thiago Silva that came from Nottingham Forest. They just don't have the mentality. But I think if I take Oleg as an example, he's got no competition at left back. So nobody's pushing him to spend that extra time in training and be like, I'm going to lose my place. I better stay at the training ground an hour or two, practice my crossing and my shooting for when I get forward. There's no one who's got a 17, 18-year-old as competition that's never played a professional game in his life right now. So, yeah, that's... Otherwise, you said all the players, mate. Valbuena, he's played for the French national team more than 30 times. He's won European competitions. He's won leagues in France, in Russia. El Arabi he's a top striker. In midfield, Jan Villa.
But do you see them putting their arm around the youngster at halftime when they're walking off or anything like that? This is what I'm saying. Like these little things that you notice that perhaps, obviously the cameras ain't going to pan in on that kind of stuff. Yeah. But if you're watching it on the telly and you kind of see in the corner, El Arabi's got his arm around one of the youngsters. Do you see that kind of stuff? I mean, I know it's a massive deal that you don't see it. Do you get what I'm saying? But at least you want to know that something like that is happening, that, the players that are on the pitch, the experienced ones, are talking to the youngsters in training or whenever it is, just to give them pointers, because that's more, that kind of experience and that knowledge to pass it on. That's priceless, man. Do you get what I'm saying? Yeah, game time is important so they can make their own mistakes, but to have someone there, like you had Rafinha there last season, right back. I know he wasn't there for long, but can you imagine how much knowledge he could pass down to younger right backs, given what he's achieved in his career?
Absolutely. I've said this before, and actually, when we went when we talked to Don Robbie ahead of the Arsenal game last year, he asked me what was our biggest strength, and I said it was our mental strength as a team, because we've got those personalities in the squad and in the locker room, and we've got a coach that seemingly is saying the right things when he needs to say them. Like, he's motivating them, and he's essentially the one that knows when to put his arm around a player or when to penalize a player. Kostas Fortounis came back from injury last year, and he tore his ACL, and he tore it again now, and he wanted to rush back into the team, and he got pissed off because he didn't play against PAOK in a game. And then you're talking about a player that's getting 2 million almost a season, and Martins threw him out of the squad. He didn't take him to the Emirates for the game that we won. So I think, like, in terms of like I said, mental toughness and team togetherness, that's really good. And there's a good, the mix of nationalities and the amount of French speaking players that we have and Portuguese speaking players that we have it's a good mix. And people like Ruben Semedo, he's a guy that brings together the Greeks and the foreigners. He just kind of goes into the locker room with a boombox and starts dancing and teases the Greek players. So it's a good dressing room atmosphere actually in the club.
That's important. That's very important, because if everyone's heads are dropped, then that's it. Game over. Yeah. It's good to have that banter as well. I just think that you've seen it yourselves. Clubs in Greece, they tend to sack managers left, right, and centre. It happens in Cyprus. Boyle had, how many managers did they have last season? 3, 4. I think
was it only
4?
3?
Yeah, the year before they started with Tramatsani, then they had Dole, then they had, who did they have? Ingebrigtsen, then Uzunidis, and then the season started with Uzunidis. They sacked him. They brought in Mick McCarthy for 2 months. They sacked him.
Mick McCarthy?
Yeah. They had him for 2 months. He started well, a few draws, a few wins, and then he went 4 defeats on the bounce, and they sacked him. He made about $250,000 out of that, to be fair. But yeah, so you've seen clubs sacking managers left, right, and centre. So you can't get that continuity. So it's great that you've got this head coach who I've been told he's the best coach that you've ever had. Since Bajevic.
Mm-hmm. This is a big debate.
But the thing is, still, he's going to have Premier League clubs looking at him soon, and there's nothing that Marinaki can do about if Wolves come knocking on the door wanting him to come coach or whatnot. So I do worry about that as well. It seems in Greece you're either not good enough and you get sacked in 2 months, or you're very good and then you go coach a bigger team.
Yeah, but you say that, but I'm pretty sure Marinaki's already got a plan on who he's going to bring in Do you know what I mean? This head coach has been sought after the past couple of seasons, as far as I'm aware. So Man United's probably sitting there thinking, all right, well, I need to look at someone who I can bring in to take over. And I'm pretty sure there are names out there, Fonseca being one of them. That was at Roma. I think he'd be a good one for you guys, personally. But anyway, that's by the by, because you still got this guy.
There's one coach who's not at a club, and hopefully he won't be for another season, and he'll come back next summer. Everybody knows who it is.
If he doesn't come to Olympiakos, he can go work, be the Greece manager.
No, he can continue. He can continue painting in Catalonia. Let him do his painting for a year, and he can come next season.
No, he's talking about Fernando Santos coming back, baby, coming back. I would take him at the national team, to be honest. Though.
Me too. Any day of the week.
Well, guys, I'm not sure if there are any other topics to discuss, but if there are any last digs at Vozinha, are we going to talk about this?
No, we don't.
Maybe I'll.
You don't live here. There's a difference.
Fair play.
You don't drive around. You see these Union Jacks all over the place. I mean, don't get me wrong.
Stel, Canada's part of the fucking Commonwealth or whatever the hell they call it. So you actually do see them here, but nobody is out. Yes,
really.
I drove by a military base the other day, and they have the Canada flag and the UK, the Union Jack. It's like they think they're still a colony or something. I don't really get what the deal is, but. And the Queen is on the money as well. Like the $20 bill in Canada has Queen Elizabeth on it.
Well, as long as Andrew on it, you'll be all right. You need Epstein to come back to life, won't you? Anyway. But no, listen, look, I get it. It's the feel-good factor. And, they haven't won anything since 66. They haven't been in a major final since 66. They got to the semi-final last year, 3 years ago, 2018, wasn't it? World Cup. And look, it's good for the people out here. Don't get me wrong. It's good for supermarkets who's running out of alcohol to sell and that kind of stuff. But for me, it's like, it's too much, man. It really is too much. I mean, I remember when Greece won the Euros and there was about 1,000, 2,000 people in Southgate, which is a little area in North London, but they took the whole of Southgate down to Palmer's Green towards Haringey. It was immense. And there was no trouble. Everything was fine. Last night, England win. The fans go to Piccadilly Circus. They're smashing windows on buses. It's like, what are you doing? You've won the game. You haven't lost it. You've won.
Stel, you don't have to convince me that England winning the Euro is a bad thing. I've more or less been rooting against them the entire time.
It would be terrible. Can you imagine? Oh, we voted Brexit and now we won in the European Championships. Can you imagine?
Oh, can you imagine? That would be the worst narrative. I can already read the op-ed. I can already read the op-ed. I can read it already. Oh no.
Boris Johnson, winning. Can you imagine? Oh, they won the Euros with me in charge. Motherfucker.
Also, there was the whole thing about a few of the politicians have this huge hard line on immigrants and on taking the knee, and now they're just loving it up. They were shitting on the players for taking the knee.
Player, Raheem Sterling.
Yeah, that's so fucked up. But
well, I saw this image on Instagram earlier this morning, and it had the list of the England players that started the game yesterday. And
I saw this as well, Stel. Yeah,
if it wasn't for immigration, right, there'd only be 3 English
even
players.
Harry Kane. Harry Kane's Irish dad, so even he wouldn't be in there. Yeah,
Harry Maguire, I think he's got Irish background. I think it was only Shaw, Stones, and Pickford.
Because Declan Rice as well as Irish.
Irish,
I remember that Declan Rice. That was a huge deal. Didn't he play a friendly?
He played in the youth team.
Well? Youth team. Okay.
But no, I mean Costa and I have had banter, and Costa loves to. I swear, actually, it's every time I'm like, all right, guys.
This is also breaking news.
And Costa's like, it's coming home, and I'm like, no.
I may be going to Rome or Genoa for the final, just to get on with my Italian friends to go. Maybe, hopefully, have a party. We'll see. So
8/7 international live stream potentially from the
potential pitch. From the Italian streets. Hopefully, we'll see.
If England win, get a Captain America shield or something. Get some protective armor.
Yeah,
gonna be throwing glass bottles at you. Be careful.
Nah, mate, I'm staying at home. I'm hibernating.
Let's hope Stel's the only thing coming home this weekend. England versus Italy. Go Italy.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed, but yeah. Anyway, whatever. I've wasted too much time talking about them.
We don't need to talk anymore about them. But Stel, as always, I want to say thank you.
Get that off the screen.
Yeah, no, I'm dealing with it. I'm dealing with it. We have technical difficulties here.
That was legit by accident. And for the record, I said this off camera. The beauty of being a dual national is that if we win, great, lovely. If we lose, I don't give a shit. Honestly.
Well, I was supporting Slovakia, but they didn't do well. But it is what it is.
You had a couple horses in the race with Omonia. Hungary, like on that last day of that group, I was kind of rooting for Hungary to sneak in. You know what I mean?
They were almost there, weren't they? And then they blew it against. It
was a close. It would have been entertaining. But anyway, Stel, thank you very much for joining us. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to crouch under the shoot the defense umbrella there.
No, thank you, man. I appreciate it. Sorry for taking up 20 minutes of your time at the beginning.
It was great.
Monologue,
it was fantastic content. We enjoy it, and we've had much longer podcasts in the past, so this is not a problem at all. But yeah, man, it's always a pleasure to have you on here and chat. I'm sure we'll do it soon. I have a weird feeling we're going to be matched up against Omonia in the Champions League qualifiers. So maybe that'll be an excuse.
I won't complain. That means that we'd have got past Dinamo Zagreb. A good team, man. Very good team.
Yeah. But either way, man, all the best to you and to the family. And hope everything is good. Enjoy the Euros final on Sunday. Best of luck. And
you were doing so well until you said that bit.
Are you even going to watch?
Probably not.
Fair enough.
Probably not, but hey. But again, thanks for the opportunity. It's been brilliant. And hope you guys are well. Be safe. Don't do anything stupid. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. Why don't you start trolling Panathinaikos? I don't understand why you guys don't do it. Are they just...
They're too small. It's not worth our time.
Okay.
we give it to Pauk more, honestly, at this point.
Yeah, I've noticed that. Yeah.
Honestly, it's there. I think there's a part of all of us that almost wants Panathinaikos to be a bit less pathetic. So it's not like, you know what I mean? Can you guys relate? Like, it went away when they beat us this year, and it was like, oh, this fan who hasn't talked to us, this Panathinaikos fan who hasn't logged into their Twitter account since 2015 is chirping at us. Like, can you quiet down, please? You're quite a bit of ways down on the table. I really don't want to hear that.
At the beginning of the season, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, yeah.
So 9 points ahead of us at one point, and then it's the conspire effect. What can I tell you? That's what happens.
Yeah, well, like I said, they're not really on our radar, as we would say in America. We're not thinking about them right now.
Fair enough.
And also, it's the summertime. We're enjoying the heat, enjoying the fun. No annoying clowns in the comments. No stupid comments from the manager of the opposing team. Don't have to worry about any of that for a few more weeks. And quite honestly, I don't miss it. So
there we go. Wonderful.
But yeah, well, thank you everybody for listening. And thanks for everybody's comments in the live chat. It's always nice to see people in there. We will be back this weekend. Probably. I don't know what we're going to talk about. Maybe some transfer news coming in. People seem to like that. We'll figure something to prattle on for an hour about. Make sure to give us a good old like. Hit the good old like button if you're watching on YouTube. Just give us a subscribe as well. Leave a comment and say hi. Yeah, there you go. That's a Stel saying if you're not familiar. If like I said, give Stel a follow on Instagram at Stel, CHE Stel. I don't know how it's meant to be pronounced. But yeah, that's about all we've got, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your week. Stay safe, especially if you're on the streets of London. And we will see you very soon.
You just listened to an episode of the Gate 7 International Podcast, a podcast connecting Olympiakos fans from Brussels to Tokyo, from Toronto to Geneva. We are 4 Olympiakos fans from every corner of the world, bringing you news and interviews of the team you love in English. With new episodes twice a week, You'll never miss out on the latest updates and stories of the team you love. If you liked what you heard, make sure to follow us on social media at Gate7INTL, give us a subscribe on YouTube, or even leave a review on all our podcast channels. Until next time, this is our team, our city, and our story. Θρύλος είσαι. Στο μυαλό κάτι μαγικό.